Hey everyone, so we just wrapped up. I don't want to say a long day necessarily, it just feels long because we took a fat nap before a late dinner. But we had Cannes today, and we didn't have anything planned, like no excursions, which was nice. Cannes, I would say, is a really easy city to not have plans in because it's a short tender ride, and then the city is right on the shore, so there's no bus, no taxi, no public transportation that you have to worry about unless you're planning to go much deeper into the city. But I would say it was very easily navigable. If you're trying to kind of like the big attractions and stuff like that for tourists within the city, it's all right there as soon as you get onto the shore. Any thoughts from you?
No, nothing to really add. Second everything you said.
Yeah. I would say the best coffee I've had in the Mediterranean so far was in Cannes. Gosh, what was it called? Lola? But I think it was something like Lola Coffee or something like that. Tucked in the alleyways of, I guess, the old town. So the shop owner, he wanted me to know that it was Italian coffee, not French coffee. He wanted to make that very clear. And so far, it was the best cappuccino I've had since being here. I had some good, just regular cafe while we were in Marseille as well. But in terms of a cappuccino, that was the best one I've had so far. We haven't been to Italy yet. We'll be in Rome tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll get a coffee while we're out there. If not, I'm sure, we've got other ports like Livorno or Naples to get some coffee and try that there as well. So we sat at a cafe, had a couple croissants and some cappuccinos. We went to a church.
Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame d'Espérance. So when you go there, yes, Our Lady of Hope. Yeah, it's a really cool church. You'll see in the footage that we have a few steps that you'll have to climb to get on top. But
a lot of steps.
Okay, she says a lot of steps.
It's a few flights.
If you're a firefighter, it's not a lot of steps.
If you're active, it's not a lot of steps. But for people that are not as active, it's a few flights of steps.
Definitely just a little bit of a workout, but it was very cool today. About no more than like 66, 67 degrees Fahrenheit. So very manageable temperatures. But the Notre Dame d'Espérance, it is very, very great very cool location. It's on top of a hill that overlooks pretty much all of Cannes. And when you get in there, it's free to go. Talk about not having any bookings or excursions to do. It's a great church to visit if you don't have any plans or just exploring the town, wanting to sit down at some place to eat and also get a historical site to visit. That church is the place to go. They have signage inside, tells you about the different chapels within the church. For instance, they had chapels dedicated to Joseph and Mary and St. Peter, and they tell you all about like when it was built, why it was built. They talk about the actual focal point of the church, which is all the way in the back, which is the actual statue of the Lady of Hope. They tell you like why the church was constructed, when. It's very, very, very cool. Old architecture. I think they started building it sometime in the 1500s. They finished building it in, I believe, 1632. Definitely a great relic to visit and learn more about the town of Cannes. Trying to think of what else you might be missing. I would say walking through the alleys, really cool. If you're into photography or modeling, or you just want to flex for the gram.
Photographic, yeah.
Photogenic.
Very photogenic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just highly recommend, if you're not going to go to like Monte Carlo or Nice on a separate excursion, it's probably best to just walk around on your own and do your own walking tour versus paying for a walking tour, because it's a small area, so you can pretty much hit all the places that you would want to hit on foot by yourself versus having a guided tour. So just save your money. And we just looked up places on maps and just followed the directions to walk to it. So you don't really need a guided tour for cons, but if you're going to do an excursion to Monte Carlo or Nice, obviously.
100% agree with everything Bree just said. I think the only other thing is if you want to have like the historical context, you know, like prior planning in terms of just like looking up maybe some landmarks you want to hit that are within walking distance of where the ship drops you off, and then just planning a route that way. That's probably the only thing I would have changed. Like she said, super easy to walk, super easy to navigate. Everybody in Cannes speaks English as well. Not that we really used it. We were practicing our French a good bit. You don't have to worry about them getting mad at you trying to speak French either.
No, they were very nice.
And Bree speaks more French than I do, and I felt comfortable practicing my French. So that's just to give anybody solace about practicing their French out there. Other than that, once we got back into the ship, we took a we ate lunch and then we took a fat nap. Much longer than we anticipated. I was planning to nap for like an hour. Ended up being 4 hours. Our friend Perry is performing on the Norwegian Epic, and so we happened to be able to meet up with him as well. You might have seen him in an earlier photo, maybe one of the previous days, but we got to meet up with him. His name is Perry. Check him out, by the way. His music is amazing. He used to perform at a couple of the same shows back in the day in Atlanta. So anyway, now he's performing on the ship, which is super cool because you get to hear about his experience as a performer with Norwegian. But we just had dinner with him late night. We happened to be getting dinner at the same time, which is great. Eventually, we're gonna plan in Naples or Livorno, actually. We're gonna plan to get together and have some lunch. He knows that they're known for a chickpea flatbread that we're gonna try. So I wouldn't say, definitely not an uneventful day, just an easier day in terms of like not having to plan anything and get ready. But still, for some reason, we were just so tired after lunch. So feels like it was a big day. But we have an even bigger day tomorrow.
Super big day. The only other thing I will say, if you don't have an excursion in cons, you have to make sure that you get your tender tickets early. Depending on how early you want to get out there, just make sure to pre-book your tender ticket so that you can be in an earlier group. Even still, we were in a later group. We were like group 14, but we still were able to get off the ship around 11
o'clock. They give you till 5 to get back on the ship, so we had plenty time. We went out into Cannes. We walked around like that whole little, at least the Old Town area. Pretty much explored all of Old Town within like 2.5 hours. We were back on the ship by 2:45, 3 o'clock. So they give you plenty of time to get out there, even if you get the last tender, because like Bree said, our tender group was like the last, and then it's open tender after that. So you get more than enough time to explore.
All right. Well.
Yeah, well, I think that's just about it. We have
today.
Rome tomorrow, so we should have a ton of footage for you all. We're gonna bring the mics with us on our excursion this time, so have more talking from us out and about on in the actual city, instead of hearing us do voiceovers. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.